Hi, in this video we are going to discuss how to properly use trend lines to trade and make money in the forex market. So first of all, you need to understand what is trend line, and that I'm going to do in this video just now. So if you come to this Google search, just if you search what is trend line, it is a diagonal line that is drawn on a price chart to visually represent the direction of the currency pair movement. It connects two or more price points, the highs and the low, and helps traders identify the overall trend, that is either the uptrend or downtrend or sideways, and potential support and resistance levels. So these are things you need to understand. So there are things mentioned in this video, that in this particular post here, that I'm going to help you guys know how to identify it on the chart. So from this particular drawing you are seeing here, you can easily understand that I used it to identify what that is a diagonal. Remember, it is what a diagonal chart movement. So if you are doing trendline trading, you need to understand the price movement. Do you understand? And it must be on a diagonal. It can either be on upward move or in a downward move. So that also means that I need to identify a possible price what support and resistance. It also helps you to identify support and resistance point. Do you understand? So these are nothing that this channel also help us to identify on the price chart. Okay, so I'm also going to help you guys identify all of these things. So in an uptrend, when the market is going upward, you only have interest when the market comes to a particular support area, as is also on the trend line. That is where you're looking for your buys. Then you move again, touching the upper side. You don't have any business here because you know that the market is in an uptrend. It moves down here again, which here is another support area that I'm going to look at for our buys here. When you move right now, this is when you understand the overall market direction. This also is applicable if the market is selling. I have an example of a trade that I'm into right now as I'm recording this video, right, which is also in a downtrend market. So you need to know that whenever market comes to a resistance point, that is where you're looking for your sales, and also you need to also have contact with the trend line. This doesn't mean that this particular strategy is the best. You can still incur losses, trust me. But the thing I like about trend lines is that it gives you high win rate, like high risk to reward, because you are getting it from a very um sniper entry. If you are good at it, you can roll it down to this zone again. Alright, so you only have time, you only have interest when the market is on the resistance zone, if you are in the overall downtrend. And how do you identify all these things? Because for a fact, there is also going to be, that market operates in fractals, like we all know. So there must be a point where you need to understand the different time frames, how to use it. Do you understand? So you need to understand the higher time frame and also the lower time. If you understand the higher time frame trend, right, you can now implement the lower time frame to get your entries. Do you understand? Now I want to show you guys also how to get your preferably what I called, we have a high risk entry and the conservative entry. So I'm also going to show you guys how to use different times frame to identify the points you are going to enter. Okay, and also I'm going to show you guys the trade I am in at the point of recording this video. So first of all, let me show you guys this now. So I have to come to show you guys the trade I am into right now. Okay, so this particular trade is USD CHF. All right, so currently I am on this trade right now. You can see my analysis starting from the higher time frame, and this is the 4-hour time frame. You can see my analysis right there and what I'm trading. Okay, so apparently this is not guaranteed that it must make money, but if you really apply what I'm going to teach you in this video, you can have edge. Do you understand? Now here is how it works. So you can see I'm already on this trade. I first cut this one here. Now I'm also on this second one, but my entry here is a very high risky entry. Do you understand? I'll explain why. Now let's go to my entry time frame that I use for this trade, which is the 15 minutes. Now the market has already, confirmed my first criteria by touching this trend line. You can see that we have the first touch here. You can see that I have the first touch here. Okay, you have the second touch at this zone, and we have the third touch here, which is the one I cut, and this one that's happening now at the point I'm recording this video. But I don't know if it will be a win trade or not. I'm just in. Do you understand? But it has already confirmed my criteria by touching this trend line the fourth time. Right now, if I should move down, this is a high risk trade, which I'm going to tell you guys why. My entry time frame is 15 minutes, so let's go down to 15 minutes, guys. Now on 15 minutes, okay, what you are seeing here is market touching this trend line here, right? And I'm only entering the extra convention I have here is just that market is giving me this engulfing bearish candlestick after touching this tender for the fourth time. So that's the only criteria I am using, apart from markets touching the 4-hour trend line. Then next one I use, I just come down to my 15 minutes time frame, and I have this bearish engulfing. That's the only thing I'm using. This is a high risk entry, right? If you stay to the end of this video, I'm going to tell you guys the one that is more conservative. Okay, so it is less risky, all right, but if you have the mind to risk like this, like the way I'm doing right currently, you can. I'm going to show you guys the description of this trade and how it plays off. Do you understand? So first of all, let's go back and let's explain how this thing works from the beginning. Okay, so like I said, let me also show you guys another thing. You can also use indicators, okay, to also find your entries as time goes on. So let's go back to our drawings right here. Okay, so you guys understand what is happening. So let's come to the 4-hour time frame. So if you guys get to understand what is currently happening on this chart, so I need to hide my chart. So let me do just that. Okay, all right, so now here, like, we come back to this our drawings you are seeing here. So the first need to understand is that you need to understand how to use this diagonal line, this parallel channel. That's what I use most of the time because it helps me to get the clarity. And like we all say in the forex market, we say that trend is your friend. So, and when trend is your friend, what you just need to understand is that you are knowing when if market is an uptrend, it simply means that you are going to be looking for a buy. So, and this again makes it to be more clearer. You know that this market is channeling its energy towards this direction at this point. Do you understand? You can capitalize on that and make your profits. Now, this also depends on the kind of trader you are. So, if you are a trader that is trained mainly on a lower time frame, like you're a scalper, you don't have any points analyzing using the 4-hour trend. Do you understand? You're just only focused on your 15 minutes, 5 minutes if you're a scalper, right? Or even down to a minute's time frame. You can still going to see the trend there. If you are a day trader, you can combine 4-hour, 1 hour and 15 minutes like the way I do. Also, if you are a swing trader, you can also use the daily, weekly to do your analysis. Do you understand? You can come down to 4-hour for your entry. Now let me go back to the same chart to show you guys how this works, okay, and how I incorporate high time frame to the lower time frame. Okay, so come back to this USD CHF. What is currently happening here, right? If you check clearly, if I should zoom the market, you can see what the market is doing. So this market is clearly right on a downtrend from here. You can see where this first touch trend line is. So apparently the market has done first touch, second touch from here. You can even start from here if you want. Some people can start their trend line from here, then drag it this way. All right, then drag it this way. it is still the same. Are you seeing the same thing now? If you want this way, or you can start from the other side. It all depends on what, because at the end of the day, we all are speculators. Do you understand? Now, from what I'm seeing on the higher time frame 4 hour, I'm not using this current trend you are seeing here. So I'm using this trend you are seeing here to analyze this market. So what market does is that first, it is in a downtrend overall. I know that market is in a downtrend. I also understand that. So what is happening currently is that markets have been doing from this higher high, higher low, this way. Do you understand? In this manner, in this progression. So you have already understand when the market is doing this on this trend line. So when I saw this market firstly, right, before I called this first trade, what I did was, it is simple. As I see that the market have touched this downtrend, it's going to move up to touch this high here before I sell. Remember, so why it is moving up, if you go down to a lower time frame, which I straight go down towards my 1 hour or 15 minutes, as the case may be, but sometimes I just go straight to 15 minutes. All right, if you come down to 15 minutes, it will now make more sense to you. Now let me show you guys what I mean. Okay, let's come to 15 minutes, right? Right here. So here on 15 minutes, what can you see? Before this particular sell, right, that happened here, this is another trend that's happened. So if I should bring this parallel line again, but this trend is now a bullish trend. So if somebody is trading in 15 minutes, it can ride this thing as a bullish trend like this, right? You see it now. So this is now a bullish trend coming towards to this place. This my 4 hour downtrend, the resistance zone. So what I have to do is to waiting for this trend to complete, and it's completed while coming at this point. And if you look clearly, there is also a resistance zone here. If you check clearly, you can see that the market has been rejecting this zone. Do you understand? Extra confirmation. So what market did that after touching that trend line, right, plus this resistance zone here, and also you can see it's also on a trend. So if you are a conservative trader, what you have to do is to wait patiently. All right, let me show you guys. Wait patiently for markets to break this lower time frame trend, because the lower time frame also has a trend. Remember, the 15 minutes, this is the bullish trend. You just have to wait for markets to break this trend, which happens here. Your entry might be here. After this particular bearish break, this engulfing, can you enter from this zone? Write it down. This is if you are someone that wants extra. But if you are someone like me that just enter once I've seen an engulfing candlestick, which is more risky because markets can decide to start running off from here. But at least when the market has broken this trend line, I know that okay, it's now want to start going down. The same thing is happening again. The same pattern is happening again right now as I'm recording this video. You can see this one. All right. So if you are watching this video and you want to be a conservative trader, you want to enter when there is less risk, it doesn't mean it cannot go against you. You just have to wait for this trend line. You have to wait something like this. You have to wait for the market to do something like this. Let me bring this here. From here now, let it break this trend line, holding it here, because the market is going to for sure come to this place now, retest, probably push up again. So you have to wait for it to break. So if you break here, then upon the retest of this trend line, you join for a down move. Do you understand? If you are a conservative trader, but if you're someone that just want to risk, like the way I did, which is more, I don't really advise. But if you also try this strategy for a long time, I know what it gives, you can just enter once you see this engulfing candle that I see 15 minutes, right? Now as well, you may have other means you may decide to use, and it might be a pin bar, right, candle. It might be anything that you are using. For the fact that the higher time frame is also aligning with this, you can use that, or you can either use indicators. Someone like me, I also use indicator to let me show you guys the indicator that I use, which is also what I use on this trade to enter this particular market, right? So let me show you guys the indicator right there. So if you come here, all right, I think it's okay. Let me bring it up, right? So if you come, you just have to use an indicator called the moving average. So your moving average, once your moving average is above or below Do you understand? You can just use that moving average to enter the trade. All right. So I don't know where the thing is here. So I want to show you guys the moving average stuff. All right. So what I mean is that if you're using a moving average, you just have to wait for it to just show that the market is now bearish. You need to be above the correct market price movement, then you can sell from that point. So that's another extra confirmation you can actually use to trade. So I hope this kind of video makes sense. Remember, like what I said, you need to understand that both the higher time frame and lower time frame has their own different trend, right? In 15 minutes, this is actually an uptrend, right? You can wait for it to break up below this trend now for you to say if you want, or if you can easily sell from this point if you can have the mind to do that. But like I said, it's not for everybody. Not everybody has this mind of selling from here. It is kind of more risky. Okay, so guys, I hope this video makes sense. I hope you learned something. If you do, please give video a like, right? I'm also going to show you guys the result of this particular trade, right, on my community, so you guys to see if I made profits here or not. As well, you can also join my Telegram community. I will drop the link to join in the description of this video, so you can also click and join, right, and also get some of these signals that I drop time to time, right, for you to also trade and make some money for yourself. We have different method of trading. At the end of the day, what matters is that you are making money. Do you understand? So I'm going to see you guys in my next video, and until next time, guys, peace out.